Hey guys, I'm Sai and welcome to Ace Podcast Nation, and this is Keeping It Real with Andrew Thompson. This is our wrestling series. We do series on football, mental health, music, films, TV, conspiracy theories, and much, much more. We have all sorts of guests and shows. You can check them out at youtube.com/Ace Podcast Nation. Please subscribe. I think we're now up to 725. We're getting there slowly. We've got some big guests coming with the UFC returning on Saturday evening. We have UFC fighter Brett Johns joining us for the Danny Batten Fight Show this week to break down UFC 249, which is kind of cool to have a current UFC fighter helping us break it all down, as well as a legendary British MMA fighter in Danny Batten, former Cage Warriors champion. So, as usual, for all our shows, we have experts to break down what we discuss, whether it's doctors for the mental health, ex-professional footballers for the football shows, fighters for the fight shows. We're talking wrestling today, so who do we have? We have a wrestling journalist, a writer, an interviewer with Post Wrestling. He has his own YouTube channel, which is youtube.com Andrew Thompson Interviews, custom URL. Welcome, my friend. How are you?
Who's this Andrew Thompson guy? Sounds like a real a-hole.
Nah, man. He's the real deal. Andrew Big Time Thompson. What they call him on the streets. No, Big Time.
What's going on, sir?
I'm good, mate. You okay?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Everything going smooth as best as I can call it.
Stir crazy, baby.
Definitely.
Ready to go, ready to get out, ready to party like it's 1999. It's just one of them things, and you just got to kind of suck it up and get ready for when they finally find a cure or they let us out of our houses or something. But who knows? Been an interesting week of the graps again this week, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Not primarily Raw for me, but NXT and AEW. I really like both of their shows. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the stat cards versus stat cards thing. That's always entertaining and it's always a good time.
Yeah, I think NXT and AEW have been superb now for a few weeks. They've been real good. Raw is like there's bits of it which I quite like, but there's bits of it which I can just same old shit. SmackDown is getting better, I think, a little bit slowly. I will start with SmackDown because obviously that we didn't talk about SmackDown last week because we do it before SmackDown airs. Was it anything which really sort of tickled your fancy from SmackDown on the Friday? It looks like Jeff Hardy's back this week, isn't he?
Yep. I'm hoping that they actually let him use the no more words thing. Like I'm really hoping that he brings that back. I think it'll be cool to finally give that man his theme song that everybody wants. I never understood why it was so hard to just be like, oh yeah, you can have it back. Like why? Well, I've never understood why it's so hard to do that. But another thing was I'm intrigued by the Bray Wyatt Braun Strowman match because like and not necessarily for like a good or bad reason. It's just I'm interested to see how that is going to play out. Like if they're going to do like, wait, is this Funhouse Bray that's defending the title against Strowman? I mean, that's taking on Strowman for the title.
It is, yeah. I if you remember when they first announced this match, I questioned whether there was like an ulterior motive for him wanting the match with Braun, and I still kind of lean in towards that. I still think something's gonna happen. I don't know what exactly.
Probably get cashed in on.
Yeah, I feel like I I don't know. I just feel like they're building to something between the two, and I don't know whether they're going to align them again. Um, because there was an interesting thing. Code Orange released a new song on Spotify, and apparently there's a few. I haven't listened to it all the way through, but I saw someone's video, and there's a few references to Bray Wyatt within it. Not sure if there's also references to uh, Braun or not, but I find that interesting that they've got like this new song, or they released a new song on Spotify.
Speaking of Code Orange, with a transition. Speaking of Code Orange, I
Professionals.
I have I have put it in this week's news update. One of this week's news update. Uh, the Code Orange vocalist Jamie Morgan did an interview on the Metal Shop's Backstage Pass podcast, sir. He said that things were looking really, really good as far as Code Orange playing live for Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 36. And he said that things were looking really good as far as if that was going to happen or not. So we got robbed out of a great entrance because I'm pretty sure that entrance was going to be nice.
But would it have been as good as Karrion Kross's entrance on Wednesday?
That was a nice entrance as well. That was a nice entrance as well.
It was a pretty good entrance.
And shout out to Leon Ruff, man. That man has been getting his ass whooped over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, he took a whooping on SmackDown by Sheamus, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean there wasn't a great deal of SmackDown. What I mean, are you still interested in the Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville type storyline?
I'm interested in the promos. I'll say that I like the promos. I feel like they work really well with each other. Like I just feel like this is one of those things, man. Like this is one of these feuds where it needs an audience to react. Like it's not the same. Like it's like I'm 100% sure out of everything that was scheduled for WrestleMania that Otis finally kissing Mandy was probably gonna be the biggest pop of the night in Tampa. I'm 100% sure that crowd would have went insane for that man. And the night after WrestleMania, well, the Friday after WrestleMania, probably would have got another big pop as well. Like,
yeah, I feel as if maybe it's losing a little bit of steam without the audience. I also, part of me is, I feel like the only way this is going to go is eventually Mandy's going to turn on Otis, whether it's in a few weeks, whether it's in a month, whether it's in 6 months. And that's taken a little bit away from it. I'm also a massive fan of Sonya Deville, and I really want to see. I would have liked to have seen her in the Money in the Bank match. I'd have liked to have seen her win the Money in the Bank contract. I don't know. It's losing a bit for me, that one. Looks like Sheamus is probably going to attack Jeff Hardy next week, unless they sort of swerve us by having the Hacker. I saw that. I saw a few people getting all excited about the Hacker, and it's going to be CM Punk, and I was like, "There's no way they're bringing back CM Punk with no audience."
it ain't no way. But just to entertain that idea, CM Punk did come back to backstage, made his grand return in front of no crowd.
Yeah, but that's different, wasn't it? You know,
is it? Is it that different? It's kind of the same. I mean, but no, I just entertain it. Like I think that's like I don't know. Like I think people need to give up on stop trying to predict what CM Punk's going to do because nobody knows what he's going to do. Nobody knew he was going to be on backstage. Nobody expected it at all. Like I think things would be much easier for people to process as far as CM Punk goes if they just stop trying to predict it. Like if it happens, it happens. Like I think the only place that I could see him pop up at is WWE. I don't see him making a move to AEW. I just don't. I don't see that happening at all. I do see him popping up, and if he were to ever come back, I do think it would be for WWE, but I just don't know when. And I feel like the longer this, like people keep asking him about it, the longer it'll delay him actually wanting to come back if he wants to at all.
Yeah, and I think the other thing as well with CM Punk is he's out of the Jericho mold, whereas you'll never know. He'll never like hint at it. He'll have you believing that he's on the other side of the world the night that he's gonna come back anyway. You won't see it coming. Nothing will leak. It just won't happen. Um, and I just don't think they bring him back now. If they were going to bring him back at any point, it's going to be for a WrestleMania run or a Royal Rumble or somewhere like that with fans. I just think out of everyone in the world, he's pretty much the biggest pop you could get by bringing someone back, and I just think that it would be almost like a waste to do it on a show where there's no fans. But you just don't know, do you? If there's no fans for another year, do you hold off all your big pops because there's no fans? I don't think you can. Um, what do you make of the way they're going with the Bray Wyatt and the Braun Strowman angle?
Mm.
I didn't
I mean,
like the way they
I know
portrayed Braun.
I know we
Sorry.
talked about it earlier. It's like I'm, I don't know, man. I just feel like like Bray should not be in the title. I feel like you just got him out of the woods with the whole people sort of kind of to forget about the loss to Goldberg. It's like you putting them right back into a title picture. It's not necessarily something I'm looking too forward to. Like if they are going to put the title on them, like it's no backing out again. Like you can't keep switching every time. It's like inconvenient. Like you gotta ride
Yeah,
it out.
you got to
And
stick
then
with it.
I don't think Strowman was ever meant to. Of course, I don't think he's ever meant to win the Universal Championship. I think that was always meant for Roman. And I mean, like maybe they do the switch and have Bray win the title. But if they do, you gotta ride it out. You can't just back out if it like if you get stuck in a creative rut and be like, oh, I don't know what to do with him now. You put the title on him, so you gotta be creative and come up with stuff for him to do and keep it fresh.
Yeah. Do you think we see John Cena at Money in the Bank? I haven't seen him since he disappeared
Not at
at
all.
WrestleMania. No, I don't think so either. Um, do you think we'll see a cash in on Sunday?
Uh, Probably. I mean, I not for the women's Money in the Bank match because I mean they kind of sort of spoiled it. They say Becky Lynch was going to confront the winner of the Money in the Bank, so I'm thinking that's going to be a Raw person that's going to win the Money in the Bank for the women. And for SmackDown, the only thing I can see with SmackDown, honestly, I think somebody's gonna get cashed in on doing that Universal title match, and it's probably gonna be Funhouse Bray. It takes the pin in that match.
Who's in the SmackDown Money in the Bank?
King Corbin, uh, Daniel Bryan. Um,
I don't
who
see
else
them
is?
going back to Bray and Daniel Bryan. That was the only thing.
I think King Corbin will win the Universal Championship. I'm gonna say that. No, I think he is. I really think he is.
See, I wouldn't be against AJ Styles winning it. I would have loved it even more if he had the club with him. But do you think the OC will go back to the WWE as soon as this crisis is over?
I definitely think that's an option. I mean, WWE they threw too much money at him, and I think the only reason they had to release him because they had two like mega contracts. Like they were making like really great money. Like, and I think WWE probably will bring them back. But I mean,
Yeah, I think the only way.
but now the ball is in their court, so they have
Yeah, they could
the
have even more
options.
money, couldn't they? They could make even more money now because they could ask for even more money to sign back with them. The only thing, like I saw a lot of people saying, oh, they're going to go to New Japan. Um, my only sort of point with that is Carl Anderson's made it very clear that he's liked living back in America. Um, so I do wonder whether that is necessarily something he wants to do at the age that he's at now. You know, he's got young children. Does he want to be traveling the world? Would he rather get another? Would he rather just basically take up that big contract again with WWE and just start it again in a couple of months. You know, I'm not sure. It's a difficult one. Um, mm, what about Monday's Raw? Anything in particular caught your
Not really.
eye?
Not really. I mean,
So
AJ Styles' return, and I mean, he went on his Mixer stream and said that he wishes he could have waited a little bit longer.
yeah, I am. I really like the stable of Andrade and Austin Theory and who's the third guy? I forget his name. Oh, for God's sake.
Angel Garza.
Yeah, Angel Garza. I really like their stable, but I feel like they're beating them a lot, and it's making me care less and less. And then the people that they're beating them with, they're also doing it like it's the same people all the time, um, which I think is another issue because you see in these same matches they made notes. They even mention Apollo Crews after his injury. I feel like they barely mentioned it, which I think I said last week that it might be the start of a redemption story for him, and you sort of laughed and said no. And
They did the same thing with Cedric Alexander. Like it's hard for me. Like they like so like WWE. They have like this history of like just being hella sketchy. But like when it comes to black wrestlers and like these pushes, like you got to be like you just got to be at the right place at the right time. Like how Kofi was. Kofi was just in the right place at the right time, and people wanted it, and they got behind him. When Cedric Alexander when he had his thing going on with AJ, I felt like they should have done it at Clash of Champions. I'm like, bro, you're in Cedric Alexander's hometown. Do it. Put the title on him. This is the perfect time. And then what they do, they made him lose in like 7 minutes. And then the next night on Raw, he lost again in like 10 minutes. I'm like, what are you doing? And like, I feel like they about to do the exact same thing to Apollo Crews. They just need a baby face for people to root for so they could just break them right down. Like, well, not break them down, but have the heel get another win. Like I have no faith in them
yeah,
whatsoever. I think the right thing to do is to put the belt on Apollo Crews, but I doubt that it's going. If they do, I will be genuinely surprised, and you will see me tweet, and I will scream through a tweet.
it's I just I Raw is I'm struggling with it at the moment. I'm struggling. Whereas I look at some of the talent on there, and there's guys which I really like. I love Aleister Black. I really like AJ Styles. I really like Andrade. I really like Austin Theory. I really like um, Apollo Crews and a couple of other guys. But they're not. They're not really like catching my interest with what they're doing with these guys on a weekly basis, and their ratings are going down and down and down. Um, I would love to see Aleister Black win the briefcase,
I, I,
but
I've
I
seen
don't
people
think it
say that.
suits him. Don't they? Like, he
I've
needs
seen
to.
people say that, but like it's like this dude walking around with a briefcase just does not look right
Yeah,
at all.
I wouldn't be against though if he did win it. Him turning up on Monday and saying to if Seth Rollins, particularly if Seth Rollins beats Drew by cheating on Sunday, I hope he doesn't, by the way. But if he does, which wouldn't be
Put
completely
put
out
you
of the
putting
realms,
you
put him
putting that
straight on
evil
it.
in the world. You put see I'm on the end of the
Yeah.
podcast. You putting that evil in the world. No more
Well,
no more Seth Rollins. We'd had enough Seth Rollins
yeah.
as
Well, this
world
is what I
champion.
would do. Is I would if they do that, which I really hope they don't. If they decide they're going to do that, is give the briefcase to Aleister Black, have him come out on Raw on Monday, the very next day, Black Mass Seth Rollins, knock him out cold, win the title, and get it completely new direction. And then give me Aleister Black versus Drew McIntyre. That'll be good. But I would like to see Drew, obviously retain and go on a little tear. I'd be quite interested in AJ Styles with the briefcase. I feel like he could be a good heel teasing cash-ins and just kind of one thing I think they've done over the last couple of years really badly with the briefcase. They've blown through them really quick. Like, back in the day, like the briefcase holder would still have it. Like 6-7 months later, you'd forget almost that they had it. Where was it? I think it was Edge cashed in like 10 months later or something, and it was such a big pop because people forgot that he had it, and I like that. Because if they don't bring attention to the fact they're carrying a briefcase around, you do just forget about it. So yeah, I wouldn't be against like an AJ Styles carrying the briefcase around for 10 months or something until the time is right. Let's get to the good stuff. The Wednesday nights, they are so good, so good. Wednesday nights. Before we do Wednesday nights, was there any like big stories from the news world this week? Really?
You had Nikki Bella. She revealed to people.com from her book that she was raped twice as a teenager. That was like a real massive story right there. So, and kudos to her for being able to speak about that. I'm sure that wasn't ideal or easy at all to come out and speak about. So yeah, big kudos to her for that. I know that was probably that was definitely a traumatic experience that she had to go through. So yeah, that was crazy. You had the Maryland State Athletic Commission. They fined AEW $10,000 for that Moxley Omega match, and the old WCW announcer Chris Cruz was the one that tipped them off about it. So yeah, that was that was something. He essentially snitched on AEW. So that was weird.
Who is he?
He's a former WCW announcer.
I'm not familiar with him, but I'm sure he's real popular.
And Dan Mather actually did a sit down interview with Tino Sabatelli. They both of them got released from NXT, and yeah, Mather, I don't know if you know, but he had a real bad car accident like a week before he got released, and he talked about like when he went into the trauma unit, and then he got out the next day, and he was like one of the nurses. She was like, he was like the first person to come into the trauma unit while she's been there that like hasn't had like multiple surgeries or died on her. So it was like he got real lucky. He was just talking about how he was grateful to be alive. And then Tino Sabatelli actually opened up about his injury for the first time. Like he was working the live events circuit, and this was like 2018, summer of 2018, and he had a match, an NXT title match against Aleister Black. And then the match with Aleister went real well, and he was supposed to be off the next day. But because he did so well, he got called by one of the coaches, and they asked him, "Hey, you want to be in the main event again at tonight's house show against Velveteen Dream?" He was like, "Hell yeah, let me." He drove to the show, and he said him and Velveteen were having a good match, and then Dream had gave him a drop kick, but I guess something went wrong, and he tore his pec. So he went to go have the surgery, and he said the surgery went real well. And he knew he was going to be out for like 6 to 8 months. So he was like, he just went to WWE and told him, "Hey, let me go get my elbow cleaned up too," because he had some lingering elbow issues from his football days and stuff like that. So he went to go get the elbow taken care of. But what happened was during the surgery, one of the tools, a piece of the tool that the surgeon was using broke off, and it fell into Tino's elbow. And like they spent 4 hours digging around in his arm trying to find the tool, and then in the middle of that they messed up one of the nerves in his
oh my gosh.
And then he said he woke up. It took him 4 hours to finally find that one little piece, because they obviously couldn't keep it in there, because that's hella dangerous. So he once he woke up, he said for like weeks, like he could not feel, like he was like the feeling in his arm would like go in and out, and it was just like he stayed up for nights like crying just because it hurt that bad. And then like it was just like he could never like fully get a fair, fair comeback. And then he did come back in February of 2020, and then he got released 2 months later. So
Yeah, he was with WWE for a while, wasn't he?
yeah, he was with them. Yeah, he was with them for a while. Another story. In New Japan canceled the best of the Super Juniors, and they canceled Wrestle Dynasty. They postponed Wrestle Dynasty until 2021 at MSG. So yeah, the best of the Super Juniors canceled. They don't have Dominion listed on their website at all, so I'm guessing that's not gonna happen. So yeah, it looks like New Japan is and I really feel bad for them because they are doing things the right way, bro. But they are losing so much money every damn week. Like, it is ridiculous, like how much money they're losing. Like, I mean, they're doing the right thing, but it's like, goddamn, bro. Like, they are losing hella money by not running shows. And I know they said they're considering the option of running empty arena shows. Honestly, at this point, like, I really think for the sake of their business, they should run empty arena shows,
just run
because
something.
to just run something, bro. Because side, they're losing so much money. Like, I don't want them to go. I'm not saying they're gonna go out of business, but I don't want them to go out because it's not out of the realm of possibility. Because they are,
Look,
because if
the
they're
more that
canceling,
people, the
right,
more the people, the longer it goes on, the more difficult it becomes for people to, to deal with the lack of money coming in.
right,
Um, and not everyone is WWE, and the fact that if you look at the fact that WWE, released so many people, they released those people because they were concerned about the amount of money they're losing.
right,
So whether it's New Japan or Ring of Honor, AEW, all these companies have got to cut their cloth accordingly to
bro.
make
I
sure.
I think a lot of people will actually tune into New Japan shows with empty arenas. I definitely do, just because I think so many people miss the product. But see,
Yeah,
this is the thing with the best of the Super Juniors. You can't get no international talents in. Like, it's all gonna be the same people. Like, you can't bring in Robbie Eagles. You can't bring in like the people who stay in America or they stay over like elsewhere. Like, you can't bring them to Japan right now. Like, it's only gonna be the people that you know that are already there. Like, you got your Will Ospreay. You got your see. This is where I think a, a New Japan joining together with Stardom and using that partnership would be so beneficial, because you can put together a full card without having to fly people in.
yeah,
And I know they want to keep it separate, but I think it would, like, this, or honestly, times like this are where you look at things hindsight and you be like, we should have did that, because now look where you at.
yeah. And it's like times
Like,
like this, you just got to think outside the box a bit. So maybe they don't necessarily looking to do like joining up with Stardom now, but maybe
because of this
think, yeah,
situation.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it. Um,
Uh oh, you go ahead. You got something else to say? I was gonna
no,
go
no,
to the
I was just
next.
gonna really add to that. That's all. There's
Oh,
nothing really more other than just I think we'll find a lot of companies are going to do things a little bit different. They're going to try and think of ways to think outside the box to enable them to just stay in business, make money. They've got to. Even WWE, with the cinematic stuff they're doing, would they have done that previously?
I
Probably
doubt it.
not. They wouldn't have done that if everything was run as normal, but they did, and they've discovered that people like it and they can do it well because they've got, the production is quality. If you, whatever else you think of WWE, their production values and the team they've got doing video packages and this type of thing are, second to none. Go on, go.
Uh, so we have the Revolt. They did their interview with their Talk is Jericho interview. So you know what that means. Whenever you do the Talk is Jericho interview, 9 times out of 10, you are probably on your way to AEW. I'm assuming, even though they said during the interview that they're looking to not jump into another situation, but I don't believe it. I think that's just a throw off, and they'll probably pop up at Double or Nothing, maybe. They didn't really like bash WWE during this interview. They was just talking about how they felt like the tag team division wasn't improving, and they thought that it was just pointless. them being there, the tag team division wasn't going to improve. They did talk about they confirmed the clown costumes that Vince McMahon
Jesus.
gave to them, and they Dash Wilder, who's now known as Cash Wheeler, he said that he laughed in Vince's face and Mark Carano's face and Bruce Pritchard's face when Vince handed him the picture, and he said that he felt like once he and Dawson once they said, "Oh yeah, all right," like it's stupid, but like we're not gonna not do it because we're still under contract. Like so, they was like, "Okay, we'll do it, but just know that when our contract expires, we're not resigning." But he said they was like, "We're gonna make the best of this, and we're gonna make it fun, and we're gonna make it our own." And he said like once they said that, like a day after, they got a call that they were going to be pulled from everything going
Yeah, I
forward.
bet.
So he said that he feels like because they weren't upset, it pissed them off. Like he like
Yeah.
they probably expected him to be like super pissed about it, but like they just laughed and was like, okay, we'll do it, and we're just going to make it as good as possible. And then I think that pissed them off, pissed WWE off. So
Yeah, because the thing is, knowing, being as, some of these guys like Revival are so talented that they would have ended up making something good out of something terrible, and then it backfires on WWE, and like you say, they probably were looking to upset them rather than get them over. Um, but they're unique in that they weren't pissed off and they didn't not resign because they they wanted more money, they wanted a push, they wanted the whole tag team division to be, cared for
good,
and
right?
good. And I think they deserve a tremendous amount of credit for that because not many people, not many guys, wrestlers particularly, I don't think they care enough about like other people to turn down big money, if that makes sense. Not
Right.
saying they don't care about other people, but just that don't think all wrestlers would have turned down big money to, support other people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, three more news items. So Matt Riddle did an interview with Sportskeeda, and he shared that he recently, before the whole pandemic thing, Mr. Riddle had a trip to WWE headquarters and had a meeting with one Vince McMahon, and Riddle and Vince actually talked about the heat that he has in WWE, and Riddle said that basically yeah, he said I was in Vince McMahon's office just 3 weeks ago before this thing broke out. I was in the headquarters talking to him, and yeah, we mentioned that I have heat with certain people. Uh, but yeah, basically at the end of the day, Vince is happy. Vince signs the checks, so if Vince is happy, then that's all Riddle cares about. But both Vince and Riddle know that there are some people in the company who do not like him. But Riddle basically said that he does not care because Vince obviously does not care because Vince is all about the green and making sure that people are uh bringing positive attention, I guess, to the company or positive spotlight to the company, and Riddle's doing that. So it is what it is. But yeah, he confirmed that there are some people in the company who do not like Mr. Rat Riddle.
Yeah, I think I find it very interesting because what I find about him is I people think I like people assume that the heat is Brock Lesnar, but I don't necessarily think that's the case. The reason I don't think that's the case is because Brock Lesnar, like, he loves wrestling, he likes wrestling, he doesn't like to travel, but he knows how to work, he knows how to do good business, he knows that Riddle's a good a money match if they book it right and do all that sort of stuff. Now Goldberg, I could see being super pissed off with Riddle, and making it very well known to other people that he's pissed off about him. Um, but I think Brock Lesnar would do business with uh, with the Riddle if the criteria was met that suits him, shall we say? But I love Matt Riddle. I think he's superb. I think he knows how to do business. He knows that by saying the things he says, it not only stirs up, even in this time where he's not, you know, where it's a bit subdued in terms of fan interactions and buzz. He knows that by talking about having heat, that's going to get his name in all the news publications and all this sort of stuff again. You know, who's Riddle got heat with? Who's this? The Riddle's got heat with certain people. Riddle had a meeting with Vince McMahon. It's all doing the rounds again. He's a clever dude. People write him off as a stoner and someone who's stupid, but I think he's very, very bright.
Yeah, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, they're doing a show on A&E network called The Quest for Lost WWE Treasures, which they will be looking for some rare WWE collectibles a few weeks after they let go of Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, who specialize in finding rare WWE collectibles. And Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins both reacted to the news and they laughed at it. So that was interesting.
Yeah, so frustrating, isn't it?
And are you good?
I was just gonna say they could have used Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins for
For
stuff
that.
like that. Yeah, they could have used Zack Ryder for so many things. Even if they didn't want to push him as a guy in the ring, they could have done so much more with him on the network. They could have given him a talk show, a call-in show. They could have given him a series. They could have put their podcast on the network. You know, there was so many stuff. They're popular. Their podcast is popular. So why wouldn't you utilize that? But they just weren't interested. If they don't like you, if they don't want to put you in that spot, they don't care how popular you get. Sadly.
I agree. Last one here. Super Luchas actually did an interview with Epico Cologne, who I believe was also released. He confirmed, well, this is his recollection of it, that him and Primo went to go talk to Vince McMahon, and Vince confirmed and said he gave the green light for Carlito to come back to WWE. And I guess after some time, Vince just changed his mind and said, nah, pass. But I believe that Carlito probably was going to come back and be like a manager or something, like working with working with Primo and Epico. And I think that would have did wonders for them just because of the star power of Carlito. And I think a lot of people would have been happy to see Carlito back.
Yeah, man, I would have loved to. I would have loved to have seen them come as a stable and just be the Cologne stable, and just be the Colognes. I think that could have been awesome. But again, WWE can't. They cut their nose off to spite their face.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we were going to talk about Royal Rumble. We're going to start our quest of doing some retro reviews each week. We're going to start with the pay-per-views from 2003, but we're actually going to start that on the next episode just because I've got some personal stuff to attend to, so we're having a slightly shorter show this week. And I appreciate your flexibility, sir, may I say. So we're going to talk about NXT and Dynamite very quickly, then we'll give our predictions for Money in the Bank, and then we shall say cheerio. Do you like Johnny Gargano's new theme?
Yeah, I like it. Hey, they need something new to do. Like the whole babyface Gargano thing. Like I think that's ran its
Yeah, they
course.
needed something.
Like they needed something new. Like if they weren't going to send them to the main roster, then we'll send them to Raw, SmackDown. Then I think this was what was needed, and I think honestly, I would have liked for Gargano to kind of take the backseat and just be like a valet to Candice LeRae for a little bit, like at least for a couple of weeks before he actually got back in the ring. Like I feel like they should have solely focused on Candice LeRae. But
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I'm not a massive fan of his new theme. However, I don't think I'm supposed to be equally. I think it is one of those themes which is people aren't supposed to like. He's a heel. He's supposed to be the top, like the heel everyone hates. I enjoyed him working with Dominic Dijakovic, I've got to say. I really did enjoy that little short Well, wasn't that short actually, was it? I think it was 10 minutes. So was it? Did it go that long?
Uh,
I haven't got the times on mine, but I think it was about 10 minutes. I enjoyed it. I really liked Dominic Dijakovic. Were you surprised that he didn't? Were you surprised that he beat him relatively clean?
no, because Dominic Dijakovic has been losing a lot relatively clean. So
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose he has, hasn't he? We had a little recap of Imperium attacking Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher. That match is going to be a banger. You know it. That is going to be. I'm looking forward to that. Is
I
that
think
next?
Riddle.
That
I
is that
think
going to be
Riddle.
next week?
Yeah, I think Riddle and Thatcher gonna lose,
Yeah, me too.
and then that's gonna cause beef between Thatcher and Dunn.
But I want to see Matt Riddle versus Timothy Thatcher. I
Nah,
really
yeah,
want to, really want to see that match.
guys. I just heard the 12-year-old come out in your voice. I just heard it. The 12-year-old just came out. The excitement.
Yeah, I
I
want to
just
see
heard.
that.
Go on YouTube. It's up
Yeah,
there.
but if they do it now, like in a couple of weeks, if they was to like do the turn next week, or like the combustible element next week, and they have the match with no crowd, can you imagine the slaps as they just beat the shit out of each other?
The slap.
Incredible. The slap.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
but I don't think they should do anything until Pete Dunne comes back. I think you can just
yeah.
keep you can keep the tension there, but like I don't think anything should be formally done until Peter Dune has returned.
When Peter Dune does return, do you think they could do an amazing mix of comedy and friction between those three?
Yeah,
I think it'll be incredible with Riddle kind of like being the comedy relief as the tension grows between the other two. I think it could be really good. What did you make of Chelsea Green finally winning a match?
uh,
Well
not
done.
not too much of it, honestly. I mean, and
I just wish
we
I wish she was on a winning streak. Sorry to interrupt you, bro. I wish she was on a winning streak now. Like she had like 5, 6 wins under her belt. I think that would have had such a big impact to build her up as a top heel in the women's division.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
Sorry to interrupt you then, bro. So we had Karrion Cross's debut match. Poor old Leon Ross got the crap beaten out of him.
Oh yeah,
Um,
pray for young Leon. Leon is
yeah,
he's getting a lot of work though, so I'm happy for him. I'm
yeah,
really happy for him. That's real good for him. Yeah, the entrance with Karrion Cross that was really nice. I really liked the entrance. It was cool as hell. I kind of
yeah,
think it worked. I think kind of think it worked better without a crowd. Honestly, I think that
yeah,
entrance was very nice. Real solid entrance. Everybody knows Killer Cross, Karrion Cross. We all know he's a great wrestler, great mat wrestler. But I think what's really going to surprise people about the act when they found out how good Scarlett Bordeaux is in the
yeah,
ring. Like once they finally do that, but I mean, I think they should wait at least a couple months. Like I'm pretty sure that's gonna be annoying to her, but for the long term, I think it'll work better. Because once people see what she can actually do in the ring, they're gonna be surprised. But I feel like for now, the focus just needs to be on, well, of course, the both of them, but like the in ring portion needs to be focused on Cross.
yeah. Are you surprised knowing that what WWE like how WWE is that they didn't do the smoke show gimmick that she had in Impact Wrestling?
I don't think they would even want to do that because it's not theirs. They didn't come up with it. I don't see them like never
Not
they
saying they
don't.
should have. I was surprised that they didn't because of just history.
No, I mean, I don't think they would ever like
Mm.
try to profit off something that they didn't create. Like Impact created the smoke show gimmick, and I don't think WWE would want to be like, oh, we're using something that Impact made,
Yeah, I
made
suppose.
famous.
I I love them as an act. Was question was his entrance too similar to Aleister Black other than Scarlett?
Nah.
Okay. Remind me before we do the Money in the Bag previews for me to tell you the Rusev conspiracy which I came across. Conspiracy.
Lord have mercy.
But I want to just talk about the rest of these first. Let's talk Wednesday, and then we'll talk about Charlotte versus Io Shirai. Were you disappointed?
Mm, n- no, not honestly. I'm not, because like if Charlotte would have won, people would have just been like, "Well, you running through the whole damn division." If EO would have won, people would have been like, "What the hell you take the title off Rhea Ripley for in the first place?" Like it's like a lose lose situation. Like I would rather this happen. So now what I really think is about to happen, they're gonna do Rhea versus EO versus Candice, and probably a fourth, or just those three. What they would probably do Rhea versus EO versus Candice, and versus Charlotte for the NXT Women's title, and that will be the way for Charlotte to get the title back to the NXT Women's division, and then she'll be off to Monday
Do
Night
you
Raw again.
think they give it to Candice finally, or do you think Io
If there was ever a time, it would be now.
I would
'Cause
like to see him give it to Candice and then have Io Shirai take it off her as a babyface, like later down the road,
yep, yep.
just for you know. All right, what else for NXT? Do do do. What do we make of the the main event? I was quite interested by what they did with serial killer dude. What's his name?
Dexter Lumis.
Yeah, I was interested by that. They've put him straight into the top part of the card, haven't they? They have not like hung about at all.
Yeah, and that's because I think he's about to go on a program with Dream, and they're just gonna do like a battle with like the weird dudes, and it's gonna be like I feel like that would be something that would really need a crowd to react off of, because I don't think it's like more so of a wrestling thing. It's more of like a character thing. But I definitely didn't think at all that Dream had a shot of winning the title because of the allegations that are against him right
Yeah,
now.
no way. I was surprised they did the match
I
the
was
way they
surprised they main
did.
evented. Like I thought that was going. I thought Charlotte and EO was going to main event. But yeah, I didn't think for a second that he was going to win the title. It's too, like, the allegations against him are too serious. So I highly doubt it. But yeah, man, Adam Cole having a hell of a run, NXT
What?
champion, and
Who's the guy to take it off him eventually?
I don't even see somebody in NXT right now that could take it off him, honestly. Like the only person I could think of is Karrion Cross, but dude, that's not like until 5-6 months down the line. Like,
Matthew Riddle.
not right now. Not right now. Like it's Matt is like in his own thing right now. Like I feel like shifting him out so quickly like would just be like pointless. Like you gotta wait until Pete Dunne comes back to
Yeah, yeah.
to,
When
to
they come back, you have and they go off and do their little feud.
their thing. Then after that, you can, if somebody else hasn't already came along. But right now, like like
I
legit, the only person I could see taking the title off him is Karrion Cross. Like, but that's not until 5 or 6 months down the line. Like, yeah, I mean, you might as well ride it out. Bad. I don't really think people are bored with Adam Cole at all. I'm not.
No, it's because he's so goddamn entertaining. People love the Undisputed Era as well, which I think helps, doesn't it? That people love it, so that makes it easier. Um, and ultimately, you don't need to rush, particularly in this lockdown. Stuff that's going on now. The one advantage of having no crowds is they can tell their stories how they want to tell their stories, and I really want to see all wrestling. AEW, NXT, Raw, SmackDown. I want to see them tell long-term stories because they can. They can tell stories how they want. They don't need to swerve because so and so's booing Roman Reigns or whatever. Tell the stories how you want. As long as it's cohesive and entertaining and logical, and it you don't just drop it halfway through, then I'm good with it. I want to see them tell these good stories. Um, just lastly, sorry mate, on NXT, how are you finding the old cruiserweight tournament? And also,
I'm
I told you they were going to turn what's his head's firing into a storyline, and you did not believe me.
yeah, I'm thinking
Drink.
the tournament is going well. I think I like I mean the matches are good. It just felt like some of them are like just happening. Some of the matches are just happening. But I mean, it's gonna feel like that regardless because uh, the no crowd aspect. But I think the tournament's going well. I like the thing they're doing with El Hijo del Fantasma. Uh, I think he's behind the whole kidnapping ring that's going on, and I think the ultimate like the final thing that should come out of this is Kushida being cruiserweight champion. I think he needs it. He's been in NXT for a full year and hasn't really done anything. So I think the title will be very beneficial to him. And what they're doing with Drake Maverick, I really think that he 9 times, well, I'm gonna say seven out of 10, he's resigned or they brought him back because I just refuse to believe that they're doing this to him, like all these promo packages and all this stuff just to be like, oh yeah, when this is all over, you're still gone. Like, but I mean, at the same time, they really could, and he could just be like, well, you know what? Let me get all the hype I can behind my name before I
Yeah.
exit. That's smart by him, honestly.
Well, yeah. Even if he gets to the final and loses, they still fire him. He's hot because people care about him. People are into it. So it's like, why not? Why not? From both sides. I do think he'll resign. I think there's a good chance that he wins and then loses to the current cruiserweight champion, whose name I always forget, and I feel bad because I really like his work. But you know the guy. Everyone used to call him Finn Balor Light. AEW was an interesting show this week, my friend.
Really enjoyed the show.
That
Really
street
enjoyed
fight
the
was
show.
street fight was
Excellent.
wild.
That was excellent.
That bump which Sammy Guevara took from the golf cart was insane. I know it doesn't look like much, but that hurt. You know that hurt. The way he hit it, and then he hits the floor, he just drops. Oh, the pain, bro. Okay, so what else did you like from AEW? Cody versus Janela we had.
Oh yeah, we could just run through the go ahead, run through the show what you got in your notes, and we could just go
Yeah, so we had
segment match by match, segment by segment.
Cody v Janela.
Yeah, I enjoyed the match. It was a good opening match. They had Nasty Leroy in the front row, man. I was like, what the hell is going on in the Janela zone? Shout out to Nasty Leroy. But yeah, that was it was cool for what it was. You know,
Yeah,
I think they worked a solid match. And again, I think having the wrestlers in the crowd cheering and booing and stuff that adds so much to
helps.
the show. But
It
dude,
does.
it adds so much to the show.
Well, at one point, I like the first 10 minutes of the show. I wasn't paying too much attention. I was doing something on my phone or whatever. And then I looked up and I thought, God, they got fans there. Like I thought they had some fans in there because they were making that much noise.
Right, because they flew most of the roster in
Yeah,
for this taping, so they had a
I
lot
s-
of people, and then
yeah
and,
they
then,
had
and they had people in the stands and people up top on the rafters. Like everybody was spread out, so like everybody was screaming and yelling and stuff. So yeah, man, they did it smart. They did it.
I still think they're missing the young bucks.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I mean,
Um,
they all went in California, so and I like it.
yeah,
I don't think they want to take the risk of like traveling all the way back, and then they gotta distance themselves from for their families for like 2 weeks, and I don't feel like they.
Yeah.
I don't think they feel like going through all that.
No, and when you've got kids, that's hard. It's hard, man. They highlight Nyla Rose's run in AEW with some video packages, and then
Finally, she's back.
she is back, and she faces Kenzie Page, pretty much a squash. I gotta say, Nyla Rose is growing on me a little bit. I think she's improved a lot.
I like her, man. I always have.
Yeah, I wasn't like a massive fan. I didn't like dislike her or hate her or anything. I just wasn't into it. Like there was other women there which I found more interesting or preferred. But I
Like,
feel
like, like,
she's got better.
like Rio. I did think Rio was the right person to win the title, like the first time, like the first
Yeah.
AEW Women's World Champion. But like I feel like Nyla Rose, like she really started to like hit her stride when she started to like find her voice on the microphone. Like I know it's gonna be people who like, you know, always got something to say, you know, of course, about her being
Yeah.
transgender and shit. Like it's always gonna be somebody like that. But like I feel like when she really started to like hit her, and when she started to like use like the bass in her voice, and she started to like pick up on the microphone and stuff like that. Like I feel like that's when people like really took her seriously, when she started like, you know, just basically found her voice. And I was like, yeah, there we go. And that's when I really got invested in Nyla Rose. I think she cut that promo. I forgot where it was. I think it was in Utah. And she, you know, she put the bass in her voice, and she was like, you know, I run this damn division.
Yeah.
Da 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 da. And I was like, there we go. There we go. That's the chant right there. And then now she been on the ball, and she been doing that ever since. And yeah, I think they're doing Sheeta versus Penelope Ford versus Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander, I believe. The 4-way. I don't know why Big Swole is in that, but maybe she's just not. She wasn't at the tapings. I don't know. But they're doing a 4-way, and I think the winner's going to face Nyla Rose at Double or Nothing. So
Yeah, man. So she had like a squash match. We see MJF. I love this dude. He is so good. He talks some wrestlers. He just cuts a good promo. Calls the wrestling legends insecure and says MJF's been taking their spots. Age 28, and yeah, he's so damn talented on the mic. MJF is a special dude. He's injury free, and he's back next week to return to his throne. So yeah, it was cool to see MJF cut that good style promo. Anything you want to add on MJF's promo, bro?
no, he's gonna be back in action next week. It'll be interesting to see him and Warlow take the titles off of Omega and Hangman. I think that would be interesting.
Where does the Hangman live? Does he face where the Bucks are
I think he's in Virginia. I think.
Do you think he is the one who has suffered the most in terms of like his character since this lockdown?
Because he was so over.
So hot and so over. But I trust AEW to get it right. That when they bring him back, it could be like a monumental pop if the fans are there. We next had John Moxley versus Frankie Kazarian. This was a good match. I loved this match actually. I was really enjoyed it.
It's good to see Mox do the entrance with some people in the crowd.
Yeah.
Good to see that.
I was glad they gave Frankie a bit of.
But after the match was the real story, sir, because we had Mr. Brody Lee come out and attack John Moxley and stake his claim to the AEW World Championship, and that match is going to happen at Double or Nothing. I think it is really soon for this to be happening, but when you kind of look at the roster, like who the hell else do you really put in this position? There's nobody else, honestly. With you can't. I don't think you should run back Omega and Moxley. Is too early for that. I can't see Moxley versus Jericho running it back. Like it's really nobody else to put in that position. You can't do Cody. Like you can't. I don't think. I think it's too early to do MJF. You could do Wardlow, but like that's like kind of just like kind of whatever. But yeah, we're getting Brody Lee versus Mox, so I think it's gonna be a good match. And Brody Lee said, "Mox, I'm not the same person that you used to look eye to eye with all those years ago. I am a different man."
Good touch. So, I was thinking about this. Everyone expects Mox's, you expect him to have like a nearly year long, like a long title run. So, let's say just for the conversation, what about if they told a story where Brody Lee is just like beating up John Moxley. John Moxley won't stay down. He's covered in blood. He just won't stay down. He won't stay down. Eventually, the Dark Order attacks, and they do something dastardly and beat him down. And Brody Lee is the leader, the exalted one of the Black Order, the Dark.
The Black Order.
The Dark Order would be the AEW champion. How would you feel about that?
Oh my goodness. I don't really know about that one, but I do
But
think.
how would you feel if they did that? Is what I'm asking. I don't think they will, but what if they did?
I really can't call it. Like I don't know. It's one of those things where I would probably just have to see it see it in person and just know that instant feeling. I really don't know, but I think as far as Moxley's title reign, I think he'll lose it within the next 2 title reigns because they're doing the casino ladder match where the person gets a shot at the AEW World Title. I don't know who's going to win that or who's in it. I think they're going to announce the participants next week, but I think whoever wins that was probably going to be the person that's going to take the title off of
Mox. If they want to cement it as like their equivalent of Money in the Bank type thing, you need to cement it, don't you? Because if the person who wins the title shot wins the title, it makes the next year's casino ladder match mean so much more, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Brody Lee has rescued the Dark Order. I think he's made it real. Suddenly, it's like a
credibility, man.
Yeah, man.
It's credibility. That's all it is.
Good. I still think they could do with. I know they've got Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. I feel like they need like a number 2 who doesn't wear a mask.
They had Preston Vance. That's Brody Lee's right hand man.
So who's that one? Is he the one?
That's the only one with no shirt.
Yeah, got you. Okay.
And he's taller than everybody else.
Yeah. Next up, we had QT Marshall versus Brandy Rhodes, with Brandy Rhodes versus Lance Archer and Jake Roberts.
Jake put the snake on her, man.
Yeah, well, a couple of things. One, I'm not a fan of Jake Roberts being there at all. Him and JR. And I know people say, oh, they want to be there, and they everyone's being tested, but
Jake.
That's not going to be any consolation if they die. Look, let's say it how it is.
Jake just got out of quarantine, so I don't know why he's there. Like he just got out of quarantine. Like DDP like just let him come back in the house. So I'm pretty sure he's going to have to go through that again. But I mean,
I just think like have him cut video promos for now. Keep him safe. I know that he's part of the act and he's getting over, but come on, man. There's some things more important than wrestling.
Yeah, but we got Lance versus Cody for the TNT title. I definitely think Lance should win. If he doesn't, I can see Cody win. And one thing that I would really like for that to happen, I would like for Sammy Guevara to beat Cody for the TNT title. I think Sammy Guevara is up next. I definitely do.
Yeah, I would like. I wouldn't be against that. I would quite like Lance Archer to win, and that then be the start of a long term Cody heel turn where he can't challenge for the AEW title, and then he lost. He got to the final of the tournament and then lost the big one versus Lance Archer, and that's like the beginning of his descent into madness, if you get what I mean. After the match, Britt Baker attacks Brandy Rose and she hits her with a DDT on the floor outside, and then she throws her in. Jake the Snake puts the snake all up in her business. No, not like that. You've got a dirty mind. He just puts the snake on her. does that snaky stuff. Les Sex Gods defeated, with Jake Hager, defeated Kenny Omega and Matt Hardy in the street fight, which was a lot of fun. I gotta say, Kenny Omega and Matt Hardy together, they're really entertaining because they've both got those crazy eyes. There's a picture going around of them driving towards Sammy Guevara in the golf cart.
I love that picture.
Matt Hardy's driving and Kenny Omega's like pointing.
That picture is
wide
excellent.
Aisles. It's so good. But I wouldn't be against them, having
That was like
a broken Kenny Omega gimmick. I could deal with that.
Yeah, that was one of those. That was definitely one of those wrestler moments. That definitely was. That was no good on them. And I think they're gonna be teaming together next week against Santana and Ortiz. So it's gonna be interesting. And also, sir, we cannot not talk about this. Chris Jericho next week is facing Pineapple Pete, Sugar Dunkington. It is happening. Chris Jericho has literally got this man over, talking trash about him on commentary to the point where the match is finally happening next week. Pineapple Pete versus Chris Jericho. That is how Chris Jericho literally has gotten this man over to the AEW audience. And for people that don't know Sugar Dunkington, please go check out this stuff. He wrestled in Glory Pro. He's been all over the place. Like he's a really good wrestler. But just the fact that Chris Jericho has been all he's been doing is talking trash about this dude on TV, and now they about to do the blow off match, and everybody knows Jericho's gonna win. But I think it's real good for that they were able to do this little 5-week trash talk thing, and then finally do the match. So.
Well, I saw something on Twitter yesterday about the lady who sung Jericho to the ring.
Oh yeah, you don't want. I don't think you want to get into that, right? We can talk about that off here.
All right, okay.
Yeah, we talk about that off here, bro.
Yeah, well,
we talk about
I
that.
just didn't see what it was, and I was not sure. So yeah, okay, that's one for off the air. No
Yeah, that's off there, bro.
Just before we do our Money in the Bank pre predictions, I'll tell you my Rusev conspiracy theory, which I discovered. So Rusev hasn't commented at all about his release. He hasn't said anything. And Lana's only done an in-character.
No, Rusev did a Twitch stream yesterday. I mean, a video yesterday.
Oh, okay.
But he was just saying he was going to become a Twitch streamer, and he moved to LA. So.
Okay. So, this conspiracy theory was the reason he hasn't commented or he hasn't said anything is because he hasn't really been released. He's actually signed a new mega deal, and they just haven't announced it or anything, because what they're going to do is they're going to slowly start sowing the seeds of Lashley being a dick to Lana during the lockdown, and then when they start having fans back in shows, they'll ramp it up to the point where he's standing over her, she's falling over or something, he's bullying her, and then Rusev Machka will hit, and he will save the day. He will reunite like Elizabeth and Macho Man Randy Savage.
Lord have mercy.
The crowd will go wild, and Rusev and Lana will be reunited, and Rusev will become the WWE champion of everything. So yeah, that's what I discovered people actually think. Do you think, out of 10, how possible is that?
-2.
You don't even think there's a slight chance?
Nope, not at all. And
no fun.
And I'm not going to entertain your foolishness. I will not.
Stupidity.
So shall we get to the Money in the Bank predictions after your
Yes, we should.
First of all, last year when we first started doing the podcast, late last year, you and your Matt Riddle's going to win the Rumble and he's going to go and beat the Fiend at WrestleMania.
No. What I said, they should have in Survivor Series, Riddle should have challenged and beaten Goldberg with like a really quick knee to the face, then he should have won the Rumble and challenged Lesnar at WrestleMania and retired Lesnar. That was what I said they should have done, and I stand by that. If Lesnar's going to retire in the next 2 years, that's what they should do. They should have they should have Riddle come up, beat Goldberg, beat someone else, and then beat Lesnar into retirement, and make him their new legit superstar.
And I'm gonna beat you into
Shit.
I'm gonna beat you into retirement. I'm gonna take over ACEcast, Ace Podcast Nation. I'm gonna be doing a weekly show with Andy Campbell.
Yeah, man. Man.
But shall we get into Money in the Bank, sir?
Yeah, man. Hit me with some predictions.
So we got the women's Money in the Bank ladder match representing Raw. We have Asuka, Shayna Baszler, and Nia Jax representing SmackDown. We have Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, Carmella. They will be battling inside of Titan Towers from the first floor to the 10th floor, I believe, but the briefcase is. And then at that, you got to go to the ring, climb up the ladder, grab the briefcase, and this will be happening at the exact same time as the men's ladder match. So I'm pretty sure we're going to have some in agenda stuff, hopefully.
Will they be battling from the windows to the door?
What do you mean?
From the windows to the floor. You're supposed to sing the next line of the
Lord have mercy.
Damn.
And you got the lyrics wrong.
I know. I said the floor first of all instead of the floor. I'm gonna edit that.
Yeah. So who do you think is gonna win the women's Money in the Bank ladder match?
I think Asuka's gonna win it.
Okay. I'm going to say Shayna Baszler is going to win the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I'm going to go Shayna.
Good shout.
Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, Aleister Black, King Corbin, Otis, oh yeah, baby, and AJ Styles.
Why is Otis
in the because he has personality and it's a cinematic match. You can't leave him out. He's gonna be the one to provide the laughs. You need it for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Who you think walks out of this victorious?
I would like to see Daniel Bryan win it, because I think it brings his story with the Fiend full circle, whereby since he lost to the Fiend, he didn't turn, but he reverted back to almost to his old NXT character, where he's got a coach, and the thing which really launched him then was winning the Money in the Bank, and I'd like to see him win it, but I think they will probably give it to Baron Corbin.
There we go. So yeah, I'm going to say Baron Corbin, but just for the fun of it, I am going to say AJ Styles wins the Money in the Bank, and AJ cashes it on Adam Cole and wins the NXT Championship. Oh! That is my prediction. Boom.
I like it.
Boom. That is my prediction, since I don't really see anybody in NXT right now beating Adam Cole. How fun would it be to have AJ Styles go and do that, and then and then cash it in, and then Raw gets Charlotte Flair back when she loses the NXT Women's title to either Candice LeRae, Io Shirai, or who else?
Candice LeRae, Io Shirai, and
wasn't that it?
Yeah, that was it.
And Rhea Ripley. Yeah. There we go. So yeah, that's my prediction. I'm gonna go AJ Styles and Styles in the NXT.
I like it.
We got Braun Strowman defending the Universal title against Funhouse, ladies and gentlemen, not the Fiend. Funhouse, Bray Wyatt. I think Braun Strowman pulls it off, but for size prediction, if Baron Corbin does with Money in the Bank, I think we get King Corbin as the new Universal Champion.
Yeah, I think that too. If they were taping this match, this is what I think would happen.
But it's live.
If they had pre-taped it, they would have had Braun Strowman about to beat Bray Wyatt. The lights go out, and then the Fiend would appear, and they would kidnap Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman would come back with his own Fiend-like gimmick. But obviously, it's not. I don't believe it's going to be taped. So I think Baron Corbin probably cashes in.
Here we go. We got the SmackDown Women's Championship. We got Bailey versus Tamina. I think Bailey wins. I think they're still gonna go with Bailey and Sasha at SummerSlam, wherever that may be. I don't think it's gonna be in Boston. I don't think it's gonna be at TD. I think TD Garden. I don't think that's gonna be the place. But I think the ultimate destination is Sasha Banks versus Bailey, and yeah, I think Bailey's gonna retain.
Yeah, me too. Although I did hear rumours before that Tamina was looking to retire and that they might give her a title run before she does. Um,
That's proper.
I just would like, just want. Then do you need the title for Bailey, Sasha? If Sasha
You
was,
don't.
if Sasha costs Bailey the title versus Tamina,
Tamina actually beating her clean.
well, yeah, like if say like I know there's like a miscommunication and then between Sasha and Bailey, and then Tamina hits a super kick into Bailey, and Bailey bumps into Sasha, knocks her off the apron, and then she hits the splash off the top rope to win. And then you've got the friction between Bailey and Sasha, and you've got the title to have another program with Tamina and whoever. I'm going to go with Tamina to win.
There we go. And shout out to Tamina. She's doing some great stuff on social
She
media.
is, yeah. Just that video about her anger management was real good.
Doing some great stuff, man. I don't understand why that's not on SmackDown, but hey.
Yeah.
We got Drew McIntyre holds Scots defending the WWE Championship against the quote unquote Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins. I think Drew retains. And next up for Drew, I believe, is going to be Bobby Lashley.
And then Rusev's going to come back.
Oh, here we go.
Say, yeah, Bobby Lashley's going to win the title.
Oh,
and then
Lord.
when Rusev comes back to save Lana, Rusev will be WWE champion, like I said. No, I think Drew McIntyre is going to win. He better win this. I will be furious and very disappointed if they put the title on Seth.
There we go. You kind of got the Seth Rollins hairstyle going on right now, and the beard. Cy Rollins, ladies and gentlemen.
I look better.
We got the.
You thought I shaved my head.
Yeah, I definitely did.
You bought that shit.
So next up, we got the Fatal 4-Way match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Oh yeah, Sty, what do you think about I think it's Jay or Jimmy. I think it's Jimmy Uso that's out for 69 months, torn ACL.
No.
Or yeah, I think. Let me check. Yeah, it's confirmed. It's confirmed. It's one of the twins. Let me check. It's one of the twins though. I believe it's Naomi's husband, which is Jimmy. Let me just check that real quick, just to super confirm. Check out Post Wrestling. Yeah, Jimmy Uso suffers knee injury and expected to miss 6 to 9 months. Yeah, the injury happened, I believe, at WrestleMania 36. Yeah, so he's gonna be out for 6 to 9 months. So Jey Uso is going to be on his own, but I do not think this is a bad thing because I think this is the perfect time for Jey Uso to get a singles run and he could be Intercontinental Champion.
Yes, didn't they sign their younger brother as well recently?
Well, that was a rumor.
Oh, right, okay.
But they should. They really should.
They could, if they did, they could
Replace him?
Yeah. Not replace him.
Not replace him, but like, yeah.
Bring him on to keep him going. Okay, next.
Last match we got the SmackDown Tag Team Titles 4-Way match. We got the New Day, Big E, and Kofi Kingston defending against Lucha House Party, Grand Metalik and Lince Dorado, and The Miz and Morrison, and the Forgotten Trump supporters. The Forgotten Sons, Steve Cutler, and Jackson Ryder and or Wesley Blake.
Are they Trump supporters? Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Jackson Ryder, he posted a picture. Did this one dude? I think he had on a "Make America Great Again" hat in a photo, and he was waving the American flag. And I think they tagged Jackson Ryder in it, and Jackson Ryder was like, "You better wave that flag, boy." So yeah, that was something. So yeah, it's not like I'm surprised or anything. It was, I just like taking shots at him. So
I think that they will win.
Why you gotta do this to me, brother? Why you gotta do this?
Didn't say I want them to. Just think they will.
I kind of do too, honestly, because they already pinned New Day. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
what it is, brother.
What a sad way to end the review.
Yeah, what a sad.
Tragic,
That's no
tragic. Oh yeah,
That's not Rusev and Lana being this 2020's Macho Man and Elizabeth. That's how you finish a show.
to wrap it
Imagine
up.
that. Imagine that finishing WrestleMania. Lana on Rusev's shoulder with the title over her shoulder. Jesus, that would make me cry. Oh man, I'm getting emotional just thinking of it.
No, you're not. Ladies and
God
gentlemen,
damn.
do not listen to Sai. He's not emotional. But to wrap it up, did you get a chance to see the Herb Abrams Dark Side of the Ring?
I did, yeah. What a
He
what a
he.
dude. What a guy. Woo!
That if there's one thing I can say about Herb Abrams, that man lived his life, and that
Oh
is
my
all.
god.
That is what we can say about Mr. Herb.
My favorite quote of that documentary was that one of the guys said, and they told me that he was found covered in Vaseline and cocaine. I just laughed because it was just like, Jesus Christ, what is going on with this show?
Like
Just,
he was quite the individual that was obviously a fan of pro wrestling, but I think his desire to
coke and hookers.
I just think he couldn't let go of the party life.
Yeah,
He couldn't let it go,
much more
and
diplomatic than me.
yeah, he couldn't. Mr. Herb Abrams could not let it go. But yeah, I saw one of the dudes. At the end, he said he died doing what he loved, cocaine and hookers. So that was that was quite the story from Herb Abrams, man. I never heard anything like that. And the one part that was really interesting was when he used money that he really did not have to bring Andre the Giant into the promotion,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and then Vince McMahon was like, ah, and
yeah.
when they brought Andre right back. So yeah, that was something.
Some crazy stuff.
But
What's
he
this week's one?
oh, the Road Warriors.
Oh, is it? That'll be good.
Hopefully they talk about the racism and the comments that they made, but I definitely don't think they're gonna talk about that. But that's just me. That's just me.
I don't think they're gonna touch that, will they?
Nah, they ain't gonna touch. Of course, they won't touch on that. I'm kind of disappointed that they won't, but I think they really should, because I think you need to tell the whole story and not just the Hawk portion of the story. Like, we all know what happened to Hawk and his
Yeah.
dealings with drugs and stuff like that, but I feel like you really need to tell the story, because Animal ain't such a nice dude. Like, he's not a saint at all, and nobody is. But I feel like when people say things like that, like racist comments and stuff like that, or prejudice comments or whatever, I feel like you need to call them on their shit about it. But it is what it is. But the episode that I know everybody's really looking forward to is the season finale, which is of Owen Hart, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Is that that's next week? Is that?
Yes, sir. That is next week.
So there's 2 left.
Yep, that is next week.
Sweet.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, we'll definitely review that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And yeah, that's pretty much the show. Tonight is the go home episode of Money in the Bank for SmackDown. So by the time you all listen to this, you can go ahead and get ready for Money in the Bank. And this weekend on the WWE Network, I think is going to be Shayna Baszler's Chronicle and the first episode of the Undertaker's Last Ride series, which is going to be really, really, really good. Yeah, that's going to be really sharp. Undertaker said during the thing that he was very disappointed in himself for the match that he gave Roman Reigns at Mania 30, and he felt very sorry, but very disappointed for Roman Reigns because he had to deal with that. So, that was quite the quote.
Yeah.
Quite the quote.
Be an interesting one to watch for sure, mate. You can find Andrew on Twitter at @ADThompson __. Subscribe to his YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Andrew Thompson Interviews. Custom URL. subscribe to Ace Podcast Nation, youtube.com/Ace Podcast Nation. Best way to support the channel, best way to support Andrew's channel, most direct way currently is by subscribing to YouTube. You can also find the audio versions of all our shows at the usual places, podcasting apps and radio apps. Andrew, it has been my pleasure again.
Always love, Sal. Always love, brother. I appreciate you having me on. Always a good time doing the podcast. Next week, we're going to be starting our Royal Rumble, 2003 pay-per-views. Royal Rumble 2003, No Way Out 2003, WrestleMania 19, Backlash 2003, Judgment Day 2003. All the good shows from the golden era of World Wrestling Entertainment. So from side Ace Podcast, A Podcast Nation, from Andrew Thompson, we are out.